Good morning, YouTube. Matthew back here with you today. This video I wasn't planning on doing, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've had a really wild weekend. This is going to be a little bit of a rant video. If you are watching this video, before I forget, go down in the comments. Let me know. I think it would be cool just to read because I'm sure everybody has them. Let me know your worst experience dealing with somebody, be it as a seller or as a buyer online, especially on eBay. Okay, I've had three experiences this past weekend, that were horrid. And one of them happened Friday night, one of them about middle of the day Saturday, and the other one was last night. And last night I was at a point I even told Roseanne I was ready to just completely, once everything I had bought that hasn't arrived, just never use eBay again for any reason. I was so mad. I used to sell on eBay. I quit selling in 2022 for reasons that I don't want to go into, but I have my reasons. A lot of people that used to sell on eBay quit selling around that time for many of the same reasons I did. And eBay, with their greed, pushed a lot of people to leave the site, both as sellers and as buyers, and they're still doing it today. They do it based around policy and a corporate mindset that feels that they don't have a competitor, so they can do what they want, and that we, whether we are sellers or collectors or whatever, will just deal with it and put up with it. The difference is now, when I first got into eBay, it was when eBay was a new thing. I'll tell you something. In 1999, eBay was awesome. eBay was awesome. Anything as a collector you wanted, you could find on eBay. If you were looking for a certain card that was made in 1975, and it was one card that was oddball from a cereal box or whatever, there you could get on eBay. There might be 15 of them listed. You could find one. You could buy it. It was a reasonable price. And that's because eBay only charged back then 5% of what the item sold for. And guess what? They didn't charge sellers fees on shipping. They didn't charge sellers fees on taxes collected. That's insane. But I figured this out as back when I left eBay as a buyer. If I buy something, I'm not only paying tax on the price of the item, but I'm paying tax on whatever the seller has shipping at. As a seller, what was happening is eBay was charging me fees, not just based on um, what my item sold for, not just they were also charging me fees off the shipping price. And they were also charging me fees on taxes collected, which was wrong. In other words, if I sold a $100 card, tax was come to $2. I'm being charged a fee on that $2 as well, not just the price my card sold, not just the shipping. That was what was happening in 2022. I don't know if it still does because I haven't sold anything since like January 2022, but I quit. I said no. About a year and a half ago, my sister got me into Whatnot. You know what? You can sell low end stuff on Whatnot, and depending on who you follow as well, you can buy a lot of great cards. They're lower end. Yeah, they're not going to be high end. I'm not talking about cards in the thousands. I'm talking about low end. If you're a collector, you're looking to buy a certain player. But you're looking for low end, like $1 to $5 cards or $1 to $10 cards. You're better off going to somewhere like Whatnot than you are eBay by far. You're better off going to Facebook Marketplace. You're better off going to Facebook groups. Most of the cards I sell nowadays, I do in Facebook groups. I'm in a ton of them. Buy, sell, trade groups, TTM through the mail autograph groups, set builder groups, and I'm in a lot of them. You're protected with people say, well, you're not protected. Yeah, you are. Use PayPal, use Venmo, and there you go. I have no trouble. I've sold so many cards, and it's funny. I don't think I've ever had a problem out of anybody. Every now and then you'll have somebody trying to scam in those groups, but usually they're scam sellers. There's never a problem with anybody shopping in those groups. And I have good experiences, and I've built friendships with people from all over the country through those Facebook groups. You know, I talk more with people that live all over the United States than I even do my own family about sports cars, but that I've become friends with on Facebook because of these groups. The Whatnot was one of the best things that my sister ever told me about. I didn't even know what it was when she told me about it. Now it's like big. And then you got to look at it this way too. When I was young, there was all like back then, Beckett magazine. There was no internet when I started collecting as a kid. You had Beckett magazine, you had Baseball Card magazine, Tough Stuff magazine, and you would read stories in these magazines, these price guides about how some famous auction house in New York City sold a Mickey Mantle card for blah 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 X amount of dollars, or a Babe Ruth card for X amount of dollars, and you would be like, wow. Even if I could afford that card, though, you would have to, if you wanted to go bid on it, you would have to get on an airplane, fly to New York, or get on an airplane, fly to Los Angeles, get on an airplane, fly to New Orleans to be able to go to that auction house to bid on the card. But guess what? eBay has made a fortune, and they really hurt themselves with, they don't want to admit it, but their mindset is that they feel they have no competition, therefore they feel they can treat sellers the way they want, and that they can treat buyers the way they want and get by with it, and that people will put up with it because they feel like, hey, we have no competition. Wrong. Okay, wrong. Nowadays, Whatnot has taken a ton of eBay's business. Uh, Facebook Marketplace has taken a ton of eBay's business, and Facebook groups are taking a ton of eBay's business. And these other auction houses are now doing live auctions on their own websites, taking tons of eBay's business. A guy I subscribe to, Billy Ballgame. You should check out his channel if you don't know who I'm talking about. Really cool guy. He collects a lot of vintage, which is something I'm interested in. He likes SGC, which is something that I'm a fan of as well, as far as slabs go. And he did a video a couple of weeks ago. He was talking about how you just couldn't find very much on eBay anymore when it comes to SGC graded cards, and you can't. And I mean, yeah, you're going to get on there. I'm not saying there's nothing on there, but there's nothing like there was even a year ago. It's nothing. You can't even, honestly, there's not even as much PSA as there was a year ago. Everybody is slowly starting to pivot because of fees. And I want to tell you, eBay's done it to themselves. I don't feel sorry for them. But this weekend, I had 3 different experiences that were horrible. And this is why buyers are leaving eBay and going to other. It's not just the pricing. It's not just that they can't find stuff on eBay. It's stuff like what happened to me. Okay, Friday, I got a message Friday night from a seller. My phone goes off. My phone buzzes. And it said I had a message. And I didn't even recognize the seller's name. I had made a purchase from this seller for a card that I needed for the 88 Tops project. $8. It was a card of a deceased player. It was a blue Sharpie autograph. And it was $8 plus, it was free shipping, so it was $8 plus tax. And I had bought that card on Monday, last Monday, a week ago today. After I bought it, paid, never thought no more about it. I'm figuring, it'll be here, it'll come when it comes, right? Friday night, I get a message. It's from that seller that sold me, that I bought the card from. And guess what his message was? He said in the message he wanted to thank me for my purchase, and he wanted to let me know that he would be out of office until February the 8th. Now, mind you, today is the 20, let me see here, the 20th. Yep, the 20th. Today is the 20th. This guy's letting me know that he will not be back in office till the 8th, and this was on Friday night, not today. Today's Monday, and we're just now on the 20th. I made this purchase a week ago today. He waited, let's see, I bought it Monday, so you go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday night, he lets me know 4 days later, after I paid, that it'll be February 8th before he can ship my card. It's going to take him that many days longer, almost 3 weeks from the purchase date, to be able to find the time to throw my card in a little eBay standard envelope and throw it in his mailbox, or to slap a stamp on an envelope and stick it in his mailbox, because he just doesn't have time. He's not in his office. I hate to tell you this, but if you can't ship a card, one card, in 3 weeks' time, because I mean, yeah, I get you might be on vacation, you might be whatever, but if you are, do what other sellers do. If you're going to be out of town for 3 weeks, close your store while you're out of town. Don't leave active listings for people to buy if you're not going to be able to ship their card for weeks. You know why? Because if I put up with that as a buyer, by the time he gets around to sending me the card on February the 8th, if he even sends it then, well, it's already been 3 weeks since I purchased it. All right. If he decides he wants to try and screw me over and just send me, an eBay standard envelope with just any old card or whatever in it, well, once it shows up as delivered, it's delivered. eBay's going to stand behind them, and if I don't get the right card, I don't get the right card. On top of that, though, because it's already been, it would be, if he's not going to ship it till 3 weeks after I get it, we all know eBay standard envelopes can take about a month to get in the mail. By the time I get it, my time limit to open up a case for an item not received or an item not as described is pretty much out the window. Yeah, I would think. So, I'm like, no. I read his message and I got mad and I messaged the guy back and I'm like, you know what? If you can't ship something that I bought Monday until February the 8th, then just give me a refund because I will just buy something somewhere else. You shouldn't be selling items if you can't ship for 3 weeks after you sell the item. And guess what? This made me even madder. Guess what I got? As soon as I sent the message, which was just like maybe 5 minutes after I had read his message to me, I instantly get a notification on my phone from eBay letting me know that the seller was out of office and would not be able to respond to my message at this time and to check back on February the 8th. So at that point, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I bought a card on Monday. This is Friday night. I bought a card on Monday. I'm not going to be able to get this card until he ain't going to ship it till February 8th. He's not even going to respond to my message until February the 8th. And I'm so mad over an $8 card. And then I'm like, you know what? The heck with it. It'll come when it comes, if it comes. But I felt like I'm probably going to get cheated out of $8. That's how I felt. I felt like this is like something a scammer would do. So I go and I check out his email because his feedback was showing like 90 something percent positive, 98%, 98.6 or something. He didn't have many negatives, but the negatives he did have, every single one of them were for it's my and I should have looked at this, but I just looked at the percentage. One thing I'm remembering, you cannot base a judgment on, well, he's got 99 or 98.7% positive feedback, because you have to look. And the sad part was, all of his negatives had come in the last 6 months. Every one of them for the same thing: slow shipping. It's insanely slow shipping. I realize things happen. I realize people get sick. I realize people go on vacation. But if you are selling on eBay or any site, if you can't ship a card, one baseball card in a top load in an envelope within 3 weeks' time, you got a problem, and you don't need to be selling. If that's the kind of seller you are, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't. Because you know what? If I go up here, any store, and I say, you know what? I want to place an order for something. If they look at me and say, well, we'll take your money, but we can't give you what you want for 3 weeks if we have time to give it to you then, chances are I'm going somewhere else. So just give me my money back. At any rate, it was too soon to open up a case with eBay to just request a. So I clicked, requested to cancel the order. Guess what? It'll be, again, sellers out of office. So I'm screwed. I can't even get my money back, and I'm not going. At the best, I ain't going to get the card for you know, till after February 8th, sometime whenever he feels like shipping it. Does that give me confidence in buying on eBay? No, it don't. It makes me say, you know what? I don't need this crap. That's what it makes me say. All right. It makes me feel like I did when I left as a seller. That's how it makes me feel. All right. Then Saturday, there was some auctions ending. There was one seller had he had a ton of cards going on auction that were ending that night, but four that I needed autographed for the 88 Talks project. And I'm getting down there. I only need a couple hundred more cards on the regular set. And he had 4 I needed. Well, I bid on them all. They were all commons. And I just went ahead and put in what my max bid for each one based on condition, the autograph, the way of the appearance of it, what I thought it was worth to me to add the max I would pay for it to add to my set. I won 3 of them and I lost the 4th. But the 3 I won, I was happy with. Well, every one of these cards list in the listing, it plainly stated in the item description, the seller said he combined shipping. Please request a new invoice before paying. They do that. If you never sold on eBay, you want a buyer to request a updated invoice, because then you can add all the cards that they won to one invoice, and if eBay doesn't do it already, and that way when they pay for all of them at one time, so that way you don't get charged separate transaction fees by PayPal or by whoever that you're dealing with. Back then it was PayPal, now it's like eBay's got their own, but you don't get charged a separate transaction fee for every single card, because when that happens, corporate makes more money, but seller less profit. So anyway, I win the 3 auctions. I request, and the option is right there. And nowadays, if you're a buyer, if you don't see, when you go to your card, if you don't see, say, like it said at the top, save money on shipping with this seller, request a new total that this seller offers combined shipping. So I did. I did that. I requested a new invoice. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Hours go by, nothing happens. But I'm not worried about it. I'm like, people's busy. This is a weekend. Whenever the seller sends me a new invoice, I'll pay. It'll save him money, save me money, save me a couple of bucks on shipping, because shipping was like every listing said $1.99 per card, but of course combined shipping, from what he was stating, was going to be, you paid the $1.99 for the first card one, and then it was like 25 cents a card after that, max $5 shipping is what he had put, up to 40 cards. So I'm thinking, cool. Well, I get up Sunday morning. I get on eBay just to see, because I'm thinking I need to pay for those cards. He's not giving me an invoice. So I sent him a message, and I just like, hey, I won 3 auctions last night. I requested an invoice. If you, could, when you get time, please send me an updated total and I'll gladly pay. Almost instantly, I got a message back from the seller telling me, kind of smirky, that he feels like that I already got the cards cheap enough. I read that. I'm mad. That made me. It just burnt me up. For one thing, and if you are going to sell cards online in auction format, don't list a card in an auction format unless you're willing to take whatever it brings. And what I mean by that is, if you've got a card and you know that you want to get at least $10 for this card, then list it for $10. Buy it now. Do not just throw it up for an auction and expect it to bring $10 or more. Because I'm not going to, for one thing, I'm not going to pay, the cars, to me, what I won the bid for was reasonable. One of them was probably way cheaper than I expected, because I won it for like 75 cents start bid. But, the other 2 were reasonable. To me, common players, especially ones that are still living, even if they're tough to get, $5 max is reasonable. Because for what I see them sell for all the time in Facebook groups, to be honest with you, $2 to $3 a lot of times. If it's a guy that's a tough signer, even if he's a common player but he doesn't like to sign by mail, he's a little bit tougher to get, $5. But you're not going to get rich. And this guy's like, I think you already got the cards cheap enough, so I'm not going to give you combined shipping. Well, yeah, I could call eBay and complain, and eBay would say, well, just, cancel the purchase, whatever. But I did want the cards. I did need the cards for the set. So I go back and I look at the shipping, and I'm like, okay, it's going to cost me an extra, 75 cents for 2 cards. No big deal. Or, well, it's going to cost me a little bit more, whatever. But it just made me mad. It just made me so mad. If you're going, because, and so At first, I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and pay. And then, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to pay. So I told the guy, I messaged him back and I said, well, if you feel that way, if you're that mad that your cards didn't sell for more, that you're going to refuse to honor your own, policy on combined shipping, then just cancel. And the guy was like, then he messages back and he goes, well, I've been considering that, but I think I'll let eBay decide. What does that even mean? Um, for one thing, okay, for him to say he thinks he'll let eBay decide is his way of telling me, go ahead and open up a case. In other words, he's not going to give me combined shipping. If I don't like it, open up a case with eBay. Well, you can't open up a case for one thing for so long after you make, afterwards. For one thing, if you don't pay, you can't open a case. And if I don't pay, this is how he's basically trying to get me. If I don't go ahead and pay with the shipping the way it was, then eBay, there's no way to open a case with eBay. Because you haven't actually made a purchase. But if I pay, then I'm paying what he wants. That's him saying to me, I think I'll let eBay decide. In other words, you pay what I'm wanting, and then we'll let eBay decide. And he's saying he's not going to cancel the purchases as well. He's letting me know that. So I ended up, because I needed them for the set, I ended up going ahead and buying them. But that's wrong. I mean, I got wrong. I didn't lose that much money, just a few bucks, but that's wrong. Okay. If you're going to, so I'm just going to say, if you're a seller out there, if you know that you don't want to part with a card, I don't care what the card it is, who it is of. If you know you don't want to sell that card for less than a certain amount, don't ever list it in an auction, because 90% of the time, cards don't bring. You can even ask power sellers, or preferred sellers, or all, consignment sellers on eBay. They'll tell you 90% of the time, cards do not bring what you will think in auction. Only the very high end does. Very high end stuff. Most time, lower end stuff is not going to bring what you're hoping for in auction, because you're hoping for it when you list an auction. And that's what that guy done to me. Also, okay, now, last night, this was the doozy that put me over the edge with eBay last night. Saturday morning, I purchased I think it was Friday or Saturday one, but I purchased a autographed SGC authenticated Jose. Well, it really didn't even have to be authenticated. It was an autographed SGC graded 10 Jose Ramirez card. I can't even remember what the card was now. I want to say Topps Chrome or Topps Fire or something, Top something. But anyway, it was a sticker autograph. It wasn't even an on card autograph. It was a sticker autograph. But it's in an SGC holder graded 10. I had made the seller, no, wait a minute. The seller, I had it on my watch list. The seller made me an offer, and I took it. I took it. And because I thought it was a good deal. I was already interested in the card. I just hadn't got around to deciding if I wanted to make an offer on it or what, or if I actually wanted to buy it, but I was interested in it. And the seller made me an offer, and I thought it was a really good offer, and I bought it. Well, here we are Sunday night. It's like a day and a half or 2 days later, whatever. And I get a message last night from that seller, and he tells me that he was getting ready to to package my card to ship it to me, and he realized that when he made the offer to me, that he didn't charge enough for shipping, and he was telling me that he could not ship my card unless I sent him $5 more. Now, one thing, that's against eBay policy right there, but this seller is telling me he's not going to ship my card unless I'm willing to send him $5 more, because he didn't think about what the total would be when he made the offer. He wasn't realizing he wasn't including enough for shipping to cover shipping. The funny thing was, his offer was for a set amount of money plus $5 shipping already. So I actually paid $5 shipping. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm getting the card for this price plus $5 shipping. But for him, it was no, I need $5 more. I messaged him back and I'm like, dude, that's against eBay rules. I'm not sending you $5 extra when you haven't even, shipped my card or anything. I mean, why would I do that? You made me the offer and I accepted, not the other way around, you know. So, again, I got to say, if you're going to sell cards online, don't send somebody an offer. Don't send them an offer unless you are okay with that offer. In other words, if you want $20 for a card and you know you need $5 shipping in a bubble mailer, then I would think you want $25. Don't send a guy an offer for, hey, I'll sell you this card for $14 plus $5 shipping, and then go, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. After they pay you, oh, I'm sorry, I need you to give me $5 more, or I can't ship it to you. So I told him, I said, if you can't ship it, just give me a refund. And then he was like, well, it'll be a few days before I can do that. If you don't, are you sure you don't want to just send me like $5? And I'm like, no. And I was infuriated. And I'm like, I'm going to call eBay. I was like, I'm going to call eBay. And the next thing I know, I'm thinking, I'm going to call eBay and talk to somebody, see what they say. And the next thing I know, notification pops up, canceled, canceled. What is it with these eBay sellers? I didn't even know when I was a seller. I thought if I sent someone an offer and they accepted that it was binding, I could not back out of it. I thought somehow, though, apparently I was wrong on that. I never had that happen, though, because I was smart enough. If I sent somebody an offer on a card and they accepted, I shipped it to them for what they bought it for. That's the kind of seller I was. I didn't know that it was okay in today's world for a seller to say, hey, here's an offer, and if you accept it, that's great, but could you add another $5 to that? To me, that's just stupid. But anyway, that's my video. I just had to talk about this. Wow, it was a crazy weekend. And I'm seriously, I have not bought any. I'm not even going to look at eBay today. Today is Cavs game with Roseanne this evening, and then we got an Ohio State football game tonight, championship game, and we're snowed in. But I'm not even going to get on eBay at all to check anything. I'm not looking for nothing. Um, the things I bought when they come, I'll get on there, leave feedback. Once it's done, I'm seriously thinking about this, not buying anything else on eBay anymore. That's just my thoughts. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll try to be back again soon with a regular video. Tomorrow's mail day, should be a lot coming in tomorrow. So hopefully I'll have some good videos coming up next week. Just go over this next week. But thank you all for watching. Have a great day.